I think the idea of bravery being evaluated after the onset of fear is very valuable, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, we don't believe in superstitions in Islam, right? We have good assumptions of Allah always. We don't care about seeing a black cat. We don't care about walking under ladders. We don't care if there's a 13th floor or the Friday lands on the number 13 on some Gregorian calendar or a Hijri one, right?
Yeah.
But Ibn Mas'ud, radiallahu anhu, he said something very profound. He said al-tiyara, which is like to notice something that is interpreted by everyone as a bad omen, and so sort of like makes you pause, right? Like a discomfort, an anxious pause. He said this happens to everybody. He said, as for the believer, yudhibuha bit-tawakkul. He insists on dismissing it with tawakkul, right? And also the hadith narrated by Ahmad, rahimahullah, where the Prophet ﷺ said, shaitan, the devil, of course, he sort of incites fear all the time, right? Evokes and elicits fear. He said, he sits on every path for the son of Adam. He decides to become a Muslim, and he tells him, you're going to leave the religion you're for. So he defies him and becomes Muslim. And then he decides to migrate. He's going to say, you're going to leave your homeland and your livelihood. And he defies him and, migrates. And then the time for jihad comes, and he tells him, she's going to remarry, and your kids are going to be... and he defies him, and he does it, right? And so the issue of, it's going to hit, right? You're going to get some tough questions when you knock on the girl's door, right? But I have shaja'a. I'm going to sort of put my best foot forward, put my trust in Allah, and I'm going to brave the storm. This is, I think people, they have this idea of like, is that the answer to my istikhara? Like any sort of friction or discomfort, or like, is that a bad sign?
Right.
That's where bravery is tested. It's after you take that step. It's a muscle. I'm acting like I'm Mr. Brave over here. It's a muscle,
It's like, yeah, you gotta work it out.
No, but like, I remember one time, one of the mashayikh, he said to me something that was really cool. He said there was a guy in a Muslim army, right? And of course, like, bravery is not just about sort of the battles, even though the Muslim man especially should be battle ready and ready to protect his family more so than anyone else, right? That hinges on him and is expected of him. But he's in the army, and he's like panicking. Like, I really hope this war doesn't happen. Like, I hope, like they send a messenger, an envoy, emissary saying, we're calling it off. We're going to do it after Christmas, not right now, or something. He says, and like every day they're inching closer and closer, and he's just fretting at this point. And he says, like, they send a volley of arrows from enemy lines, and it just misses his face. And it lands by his, right behind him, and kills a snake that was like camouflaged in the sand right under him.
Wow.
So it just hit him like, wow, why all this fear? Like, it was his time, not mine. So let's not calculate this. We're going to be a little bit pragmatic, right? But let's not over-calculate. And little by little, I remember Dr. Muhammad Ismail Muqaddim, one of our mashayikh and psychiatrist actually, he used to always tell the students of knowledge, never belittle anyone. Because perhaps Allah put a certain person through so many bouts of fear in their life, even like a trader. He subjected himself to bankruptcy so many times, perhaps unintentionally, of course. And so he developed more bravery and trust in God than someone who's picking it up at a theoreticals in the books and giving lectures about it.